Alrighty guys, this is snugsonblitz and I'm back with another video for you today. Yesterday I shared with you my hardest tier 6 tanks. Today we're going to be looking at the hardest tier 7 tanks. What do I mean by hardest? Well, the tanks that people struggle with to be effective, they're not winning, they're not contributing, and that means damage, spotting, blocking shots, etc, etc. So, got a pretty enjoyable game in this tank, the Bulldog, so let's jump right in. I'll start off with my number 5. Coming in at number 5, this was a tough one. I have to give it to the WZ-131. Yes, this tank is a little bit tough to play for newer players. It's got no armor whatsoever. In many ways, it's just like this tank, the Bulldog, except the Bulldog's gun is more reliable, it's got gun depression, better acceleration. So to me, the WZ-131 feels like a worse Bulldog in pretty much every way. I don't see a reason why you'd want the 131 over this tank. So yeah, that's my number 5. Moving on to my number 4, and this is not a tank you see often on the battlefield. Why? Well, it stinks. And that is the Hafen. It's a premium tank, which makes it even worse. I mean, who wants to pay for a tank that isn't going to help you win? And it's not enjoyable to drive either. Yikes, I mean, that's doubly painful. It's a clumsy tank. I think that's the best way I can describe it. It's awkward, it's hard to get your gun down. Yeah, the gun hits hard. I mean, it's a medium-ish tank. But no, that's why you don't see them on the battlefield anymore, because as soon as you get it, pretty much people go, oh, this tank stinks, and they never play it again. Coming in at number 3, I'm giving it to the P-43 Tur. It's actually not that bad in my opinion, if you know what you're doing. The problem is most people don't. And that's why you rarely see this tank do well on the battlefield. That's why you often see them heading to an early grave in games. Yeah, I mean, it's okay, but there are so many better tanks out there. I would just give this one a solid pass. Once you can get past it and get the Pantera, say c'est la vie and move on. Coming in at number 2, I'm giving it to the Panther M10. Yeah, this tank is just a meh tank. That's all I can say about it. Problem is, people might think it's strong like the Panther is, which got a buff with its armor, and the gun has always been great. The Panther M10 is just a weak tank. A long time ago, there weren't that many premiums, there weren't that many tier 7 tanks, so it could really do okay. But nowadays, yeah, it's given away for free in the weekly boxes or something. I forget which one, but there's a reason for that. It's because it's not a good tank and nobody wants to get it and nobody will pay for it. So there you go. But right at the top, I have to say, the hardest tank to play, to be able to do well, in my opinion, is the VK3001D. This tank is hardly ever played. It's in the tech tree, but most people just skip over it. Why? Because it stinks. It's not fast enough to be a medium. It's not got the armor to be a heavy-ish tank. I mean, you can get ripped apart in pretty much every scenario. When I see this on my team, I'm like, oh, for goodness sake. Because most people do so poorly in this tank. And that's why it's my number 1 when it comes to hardest tier 7 tanks to play. Do you agree with my list? Probably not. That's okay. Let me know in the comments below which tanks you think are the hardest tanks for people to play in tier 7. And of course, we'll be back with tier 8 tomorrow. I'll see you then. snugsonblitz, out.